Welcome back to Wisdom Wednesday, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm your host, Dorothy Dorton, AARP Alabama's Associate State Director of Outreach for Lower Alabama. So back in October, we had a really informative episode on Medicare Open Enrollment. And you can still view that episode on our Facebook page or our YouTube channel. It aired October 28th, so you can scroll back and look at that. But what we have discovered since then is many people, whether they are even eligible for Medicare or not, are getting a whole lot of scam calls around this topic. So we want to make sure you and your loved ones stay safe and have the right health plan that fits your needs. So that's what our topic is going to be today, is Medicare open enrollment scams and how to avoid them. So as always, please feel free to ask any relevant questions in the comments, and we'll try to address each one of them at the end of the broadcast. It's also important to know that we are not endorsing any particular Medicare plan or company. We are just here to provide resources to empower you to make your own decisions about your health care and to protect yourself from criminals. We're also going to be showing you slides as usual for contact information and other useful resources. So again, as always, we will put those slides in the comments section on Facebook after the broadcast. And so today I am joined again by James Roberson. Good morning, James.
Good morning, Dorothy.
And James is the Regional SHIP Coordinator for the South Alabama Regional Planning Commission. James was really super helpful in our last Medicare broadcast, and will also be joined later by my colleague and AARP Alabama's fraud guru, Bill Hawkins. So he'll be joining us in just a bit. But James, again, thanks so much for joining us today. Can you give us a quick recap of the importance of Medicare open enrollment and why folks need to review their plan every year?
Sure. Thanks for having me, Dorothy. It's a pleasure to be here this morning to discuss this information with you. As it relates to Medicare open enrollment, why is it so important, many people may ask? And the answer to that question is that Medicare open enrollment every year begins October 15th and it ends December the 7th. The importance of it is it's a time for Medicare beneficiaries to reevaluate their current Medicare status. And typically it happens on two fronts. The first one is the actual plans, right? So you want to look at the plans. Plans are very competitive. They compete with one another yearly for your business. They're private, for-profit plans that Medicare approves to provide a service to Medicare beneficiaries. So whether that's Medicare prescription drugs, Medicare Advantage, or Medicare supplements, these plans are trying to solicit business. So they will change premiums, deductibles, co-payments, and most importantly, their drug formularies in a lot of cases. And with those changes, they're trying to get a bigger share of the market, right? But oftentimes that may affect beneficiaries if they don't evaluate those changes. So every year, Medicare beneficiaries are mailed an actual annual notice of change. By federal law, they have to send people the changes that will be made to those plans. But most oftentimes, they're very difficult to understand. So from one front, you have the plans that change. The other front, the beneficiary has changes, right? So, you may be on a different medication that you were on last year when you started that plan. You may also be on a different seeing a different physician, different doctor, right? Your network may have changed. You may see new doctors. So those are things that we evaluate from the beneficiary standpoint to make sure that they have the best plan for themselves.
Excellent. That's really great information. And it, like you said, it's so confusing because just hearing you talk about it, it's like I couldn't imagine, having all of this paperwork and trying to figure this out. And then on top of that, you've got people calling you and you've got, mail coming in from different companies saying, hey, choose us. And that's really where you come in, James, and with the SHIP program. And so can you tell us about what the SHIP program does?
Yeah, sure. The State Health Insurance Assistance Program is a federally funded program that operates in every county in the United States of America. Specifically for me, I'm in the Mobile, Baldwin, and Escambia County region. And our main mission is to provide free, unbiased assistance at a local level with Medicare health insurance options. That's our job. So our job is to make sure that people have a place to go that doesn't have any skin in the game, so to speak. So our mission is to help people with free local counseling to assist Medicare beneficiaries and or family members who are going into Medicare for the first time, been on Medicare for a while and just having a difficult time understanding it. We are your one-stop shop across the country for Medicare related issues.
That is such a great service to have. And like you said, this is a free service to anyone. It's not income based. Mm-hmm. It is absolutely free to anybody who just has questions. And, you know, like us, you don't endorse any particular plan. You're just there to help people figure it out. And so I'm going to pop up the age line number and the website. And this is where you can call in Alabama or go to this website. If you do have questions about SHIP, we can put you in touch with folks like James who can help you out with this kind of stuff. These are really, really great resources. And again, reiterate, it's statewide and it is a free service to anyone. So James, I really appreciate this information. And again, folks, we are going to pop up these slides in the comments section on Facebook afterwards. And thanks for that rundown again, James. We will bring you back in a little bit, but I'm going to bring in Bill now.
Thank you.
And we're going to talk about some of the latest scams out there so that people can make sure that they are not getting scammed and that you're getting really what you're looking for. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Bill Hawkins. Hi, Bill.
Thank you, Dorothy, and thank you for inviting me to be a part of this important discussion.
Absolutely. Well, you are, like I said, you are a fraud guru. Bill is the Associate State Director of Outreach and Advocacy for Alabama. And, you know, with open enrollment in full swing, it seems that the scammers are also revving up their efforts. So can you tell us about some of the current open enrollment scams out there?
You know, Dorothy, it's despicable how people will use any opportunity to try to steal from folks. And again, there are scams that are going out and they're trying to get information, whether it be bank account, whether it be your Social Security number, your Medicare number. They're trying to get personal information. So you may get a call, you may get an email from folks, you may get a knock on the door. So if you get any of these things, just be very careful. James alluded to the fact that insurance companies are legitimately trying to get your business. There's a lot of advertising on television. You can call to get a price or on your insurance, which is a great thing to do. However, be very careful of the information that you give out. And that's the main thing that's going on. Just be very careful. Now, there's some scams that are going on now where people are being told their Social Security benefits have been discontinued, or to call this number to have those go back, or to check and see if something's happening. Again, these are scams, and your advice was great. If you get any of these, call SHIP, call the 1-800-AGE line and check on that. That's a great resource. So it's out there, and the main thing that folks can do is just to be careful in this time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, that's really good info to have, Bill. I mean, it's just, you know, these criminals just never seem to rest. And so, again, what are some steps maybe that we can take to protect ourselves from these scammers and our loved ones? I know you mentioned a few, but what are some of the things we can do?
Okay. The first thing is to watch what you give out. Protect that information that you have as if it's cash, because even though it may not be cash, it's a currency that folks are looking to get. So your Social Security number, your Medicare number, your banking routing information, your bank account number, et cetera. Mm-hmm. That's the main thing you can do, is don't give that out. Now, be careful who you talk to about these personal things. There's advertising that's going on. Be careful, be careful, be careful. It's the main thing I can say.
Yeah, absolutely. Do not give your information out to anyone, especially over the phone or on the computer. Yeah. And
we had a lady who works with us who sent a message, an email email she received today where she had won. I
I think we lost Bill, but I know what he was
Get
talking about. There you are, Bill. There you are. You froze up on us for a second. And it looks like you're still frozen. So there you go. There you are. You're back. Gotta love technology, folks. But yeah, exactly what you were talking about was our colleague. And she got that email that said she won like $500,000. And it's just one of those things. It's out there, and it said click on this. And one of the great things that James has provided us with are some information. And again, I'm going to put this back up on in the comment section. But here's some great tips to know about Medicare Open Enrollment marketing violations. They can't call you if you don't have a relationship with their company. You can't send you emails if you haven't agreed to this form of contact. They can't come to your home to sell Medicare products without an invitation. And they can't leave flyers, door hangers, or leaflets on your car or at your home unless you missed a scheduled appointment. So these are really good things to know, really good information to know about Medicare Open Enrollment and what Medicare sales folks can and cannot do. And another quick one, again, email, website, social media. Watch out for scam emails with false official looking logos, like our colleague today who got that email that looked all official. Well, it sure wasn't. Be wary of sham healthcare websites relating to COVID-19. Be cautious about what you post on social media. Posting about symptoms, health status. There's people who will stalk social media pages just to get that information so they can call you and say, hey, I'm your doctor's office. I'm here to talk about your knee, because you may have said, hey, my knees hurt, this morning when I got up. So it's something that you want to take really into account and think about what information you're putting out there for people to use against you. So we're going to bring Bill back in because like this slide says, be wary of the COVID-19 healthcare websites. And so that's something that I want to talk to Bill about next. And welcome back, Bill. And, we're trying to function in this global pandemic. And of course, there are people who are trying to take advantage of it, like we just saw. What are some of the scams that are out there surrounding COVID?
Well, and James has had some direct contact with this, but again, people are trying to work around a vaccine. So they're giving an option for you can get first in line to get the vaccine, or testing, or issues, or just be careful of any of those things because people are taking advantage of it. And now with the holidays coming up, people are also going to say, be treated before you go see, or you're testing, and again, I can't say it often enough, just be very careful. People are trying to take advantage of testing, vaccine, get first in line, opportunity for investing in vaccines. Those are the things we're seeing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's such a shame. And we have a great question here from Candy Williams, and it's, what do you do if you think you've been frauded? And we have some good information. AARP has some good information about what you can do. And can you talk a little bit about that, Bill, what the contact and resources are?
Sure. You put up the information about AgeLine. That's one thing you can do. You can also go to the AARP Fraud Watch Helpline and you do that. Another thing, if you can always go to your local police or an agency to report that you think you've been victimized.
Excellent. And we also have, I'm about to pop that up here, is the Fraud Watch Network that you can always look at as well. But that hotline that we have, that helpline that is up on the screen right now, that's one, if you feel like you've been victimized or if you're not sure it's a scam, you can call that too. And if you think you've been a victim, they will actually put you in touch with some folks that can maybe help walk you through what steps you need to take in order to find out what's wrong and how to fix it. Is that right, Bill?
And it is. And that brings up a good point. And James talked about this. These are professional folks who are trying to relieve you of your money and your resources. So don't feel that you've done anything wrong. Don't feel that somehow you've fallen short. These are criminals, and this is just a different way they're using to victimize you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, you should never feel guilty for any of this, for anything that happens, because this is what they do. This is their profession. They are there to trick you, and they are good at it, you know.
And they are relentless at it.
Yes.
So don't feel you have to answer the phone. Don't think you're going to be impolite to folks, and don't think you are somehow at fault if you don't do what they ask.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Bill. And now I'm going to bring James back in and ask him, James, Bill just gave us some great information about stuff that's out there. I know with age line and everything, and with what you're doing with SHIP right now during open enrollment, what have you heard? What are some of the scams that have been reported back to you that people need to be looking out for?
Well, like Bill just mentioned, he touched on some really good points in relationship to fraud and who these people are. These people they are a very professional group. They are people that look like us, that go to grocery stores that we go to. They're the people that are in the communities with us, but they are criminals. So they don't. A lot of people are fearful and are afraid to maybe get engaged or disengage from these people when they call. But some of the things that we're seeing here with the Senior Medicare Patrol program that I coordinate as well is two things, and it typically involves what the trends are. So right now, as Bill was mentioning, the trend is COVID-19 testing, COVID-19 vaccine, contact tracing, telehealth. These are all newer trends that's just emerged in the last year or so that have now become the norm for the criminal element. And what basically they're trying to do is they're trying to call and confuse Medicare beneficiaries and family members in relationship to what they need to do, right? So in other words, hey, if you've been around someone with COVID-19, we're doing contact tracing on people in your community or at your church or at your gym that you go to. And in order to do that, we need your Medicare number, right? People are giving these people their information, and these people may be sitting at home and have no relation to anybody but to be fraudulent, right? Or to try to scheme people. So contact tracing is a big deal. The vaccine, now we have some good news coming from the federal level with Pfizer and Moderna in regards to the vaccine. So now you'll start hearing people say, and what we've already heard once or twice is people saying, look, watch out for people calling saying, look, we can get you in line first at your local doctor's office to get this test, or will you take the test, right? We're doing a survey to see how many Medicare beneficiaries will actually take the test or get the vaccine, right? So those are things that we're concerned about as relationship to telehealth as well. Telehealth is very new. A lot of people are afraid to go to a physician. My own mother, she had to make an appointment a couple of months ago, and she was very apprehensive about going. So the criminal element understands that. So telehealth is a new way that people can go to their physician's office remotely, right? They can do it via internet or with a phone. Well, the criminal element is calling people, telling people, hey, listen, you can get this help by contacting us, and we need your Medicare information, and we'll schedule a telehealth appointment with your physician. Please verify that with your physicians first. That shouldn't happen. Those are things that should be verified, should be systematically approached so that you don't run into this problem. And those are a couple of things that we're seeing at the Senior Medicare Patrol office here in the Mobile area.
That's really good to know. And like you said, if someone calls you and says, hey, we're doing this for your doctor, we're doing this for XYZ, or if it's even if it's your bank and they say, hey, we're calling you, we need this information, you have every single right and should say, I'll get back to you. Sure. Hang up and call your doctor's office yourself. Call the number is your doctor's. Call the number is your bank, and check with them and say, hey, I just got this phone call. And if it's them, if it's legit, that's great. You can just keep on going. But chances are it probably isn't, and they need to know that information. So that's some really great information, James. And again, and y'all also have this is where you get the summary notices. Can you talk a little bit about what the summary notices do to protect people against fraud?
Sure, Dorothy. People on Medicare get two notices. They're going to get either the one that you see on the screen, which is the Medicare summary notice. This is a summary notice for people that have original Medicare, the red, white, and blue Medicare card. This is a notice that tells people what's been billed to their account. Okay, so at the top, it'll say this is not a bill. Most people see that and they throw it away. They don't look at it. What we are encouraging people to do is look at these summary notices and look at the dates, the name of the physicians, take a look at the vendor, who submitted the claim, and make sure that you went to that physician's office or that doctor by verifying. Because what happens is anything that's billed to your account will come to you in this summary notice. And some people don't, they never look at them, and they don't realize that they may have been billed for medical equipment, scooters, walkers, wheelchairs, oxygen tanks. People have been billed for so many things, but they never really knew that they were being billed because they never really verified, right? Mm-hmm. So what happens is, the problem with that is, if you're billed for those things and then you need them later on, it may be more difficult for you to get it, right? We've had situations where a gentleman was on a CPAP machine for sleep apnea, and they billed him a bunch of equipment for his CPAP machine that he never asked for. So he sent it all back, and he actually let us know that was an issue. We reported it. But what happened to him was, when it was time for him to get things, Medicare had a lot of red tape for him to go through, because when he needed it for real, his own, they had already been questioning so much of the billing before. So what we want to do is encourage people to take a look at that. If you're on one of the specific plans, it won't be called a Medicare summary notice. It will be called a explanation of benefits. Right. So it'll be the same thing. It'll just be called an explanation, of benefits. So it'll be the same thing. You really need to verify that. And if you see something that doesn't look right, always check with your doctors first. Contact them. Make sure that they know that there's a discrepancy. And if that doesn't work, or if you don't get the answer, if you just don't feel right, please contact us. Let us know. We would be glad to assist you with getting this thing resolved as it relates to that.
That's great information, James. I'm going to pop up the 1-800-AGE line again, because that's so important. And again, folks, I am going to be putting all of these in the comments section on the Facebook broadcast of this afterwards. And so if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. We'd love to answer your questions. I'm going to bring Bill back in. And one thing you mentioned, James, was about the Medicare, or about the medical equipment. And I actually, Bill does a great job with teletown halls on fraud and things like that. We do those pretty much on a monthly, every other month basis. And our next one is actually going to be December 8th. We have some information about that at the end of the show. But, I was actually answering some of the calls that were of the callers who were calling in. And this one lady had an instance where someone came to her house uninvited, said that her doctor ordered this medical equipment for her. They insisted that they had to leave it with her. And the next thing she knows, she's getting bills and being turned over to a collection agency. It's so scary to think of something like that. Even though she said, she kept saying that, she didn't need it. They convinced her that her doctor said she had to have it. She had to take it. And that's the thing, is that you always have a choice. You always have a right to say no to things like that. So it's just, it's just such a, it's such a shame that there are people out there. This is such great information, James. I really appreciate it. Again, I'm going to pop up this information, and SHIP can help you with your Medicare questions. If you don't feel good about something, or you're not sure what you need to do, SHIP is there to take your questions and to answer them, non-biased, non-judgmental, non-endorsing. It's such a great program to have. And let's see, Bill is having some technical issues. Let me see if there he is.
Hey, folks, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
It's okay.
It's this new technology world we live in. So, yeah. Well, gentlemen, do y'all have any final parting thoughts for us?
I would like to say a few words.
I'd just like to say, just protect what you.
Uh-oh.
James.
Sorry, Bill. I think you're freezing up again. Go ahead, James.
Okay. All right. Well, again, I think Bill touched on a lot of very important topics earlier on, and you alluded to some things as well. So, for us, from our standpoint, we want to just encourage people to definitely protect yourself by paying attention to your Medicare summary notices, your explanation of benefits. Inbound calls are always questionable. If people are contacting you, calling your phone, always question that. Always get a phone number and call back. Always try to verify your doctor's office or your pharmacy or and the like. But always be questionable of inbound calls as they relate to Medicare. In open enrollment season, like you say, the marketing violations, there are things that these agents can and cannot do. I'm glad that you put on the screen some of those things. They can't just contact you when they feel like it and call you. These are things that are just marketing violations 101 and have been that way for quite some time. My final piece of advice would be to just get to know your SHIP office, your state health insurance assistance program and your senior Medicare patrol. Most of the time they're together, like in my case in the Mobile region. We're in the same office, the same building. I coordinate both programs. But people really need to get to know their state health insurance program as well as their senior Medicare patrol, because we are a free, unbiased source for people to kind of contact to make sure that you're getting an informed decision-making process started. And we can help with that.
That's excellent. Thank you so much, James. And let's see, Bill, we'll try you again. Let's see. Are you, I think he's frozen again. Sorry, Bill. Just not your tech day. I was having one of those days on Monday, so I feel him. But just to give everybody a reminder too, if we also have this 1-800 number. If you are, if you feel like you've been a victim of it, or if you feel like maybe it's not necessarily related to Medicare, but if it's related to you've won this lottery from Zimbabwe, or somebody's asking you to come have lunch with them to talk about this great investment opportunity, that's where we can also help. AARP's Fraud Watch Network can help, and you can call this number and just report those things, let folks know what's going on. Or if you feel like you've been a victim, you can call this number. They can put you in touch with some folks that can help you with that. So James and Bill, I want to thank y'all so much for coming on. Bill, we're sorry about his technical difficulties, but that's the age we live in these days. And but James, thanks so much again. I look forward to having you on in the future so we can keep educating people about what you do. It's so important. So
thank you so much for having me today. I really enjoyed it, and I hope we've been able to help a lot of people. Thank you so much.
I hope so too.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. And all right, folks, so we are coming to the end. I want to give y'all a couple of announcements real quick. We are actually going to be taking next Wednesday off because we are going to be doing all of the Thanksgiving things that everybody does for Thanksgiving. And so just to give you an upcoming look at what we're going to be talking about, December 2nd, we're going to be talking about Montgomery on the Move. So Montgomery folks, tune in for that. It's lots of great information. December 9th, we're going to be talking about holiday sugar cookies and how to decorate those cookies. And then on December 16th, we've got some really exciting, a really exciting episode. We're going to be talking about Alabama holiday folk traditions. And this one is really key because this is where we want to hear from you. We want to hear from you and what your folk traditions for surrounding the holidays are. A folk tradition is something that gets passed down through the generations in families or communities. It can be a recipe, a song, a story, a superstition, anything that gets handed down. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to have you on video talking about these traditions, and we'd love to feature it on our Wisdom Wednesday on December 16th. So if you have something like that, please reach out to Emily at alabamafolklife@gmail.com. Like I said, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to have your video. We'd love to feature it. Well, the great thing about this with Alabama Folklife is when you do tell these traditions on video, we're able to archive those in the state archives. So they live in perpetuity. So you'll be creating a legacy and keeping those traditions alive. And so please consider emailing in and talking about that. And we are going to put up a quick video so you can see what's happening. But remember, we will be joining you again with Wisdom Wednesday on the December 2nd. So hang in there. And again, everyone, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving and stay healthy and stay wise.